All right. We're live everywhere. Welcome back to episode 270 of the Guy and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about guns, and responsible Christian gun owners' interest. On this episode, we're going to be talking about terror groups like the KKK, Antifa, BLM, and other Democratic front groups. Is that a little forward? I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit too forward.
It's going to get a little interesting.
All right. So we want to thank our sponsors, of course, Oath Keepers TV, for putting us on live on their channels and hosting our shows over there. But also want to thank
Crossbreed Holsters. Hey, you've heard Troy and I talk about if you're carrying a gun, you need to be carried in a crossbreed. They got a holster for you no matter what you're carrying. Go check them out. Crossbreedholsters.com. Carry the cross. Also, PowerTac lights, which I'll be using this weekend, lighting up the world. PowerTac's got some good stuff, and they give us a great discount for our listeners of 40% on things that they got on their site. High quality lights. Go check them out. PowerTac.com.
Good deal. So what's been up with you for the last 2 weeks on your guide and gun activities, Doug?
Oh, let's see. What have I been doing? Sportsman's Daily Devotional. We haven't went back to church yet. I think they opened it up on the 31st for actual service in the church, but we just did online and doing that for the moment. And we'll get back in the swing of things here shortly. But I try to catch the prayer and fasting episodes you've been doing, but usually when you do them, it doesn't matter what time you switch it around. I'm either in a meeting, on a call, something, and I can't watch. So I went back and watched a couple, after the fact, but I never can catch you live hardly. So now I know how some of our listeners feel when they can't catch us live. But gun side, of course, everyday carry. Heading to Savannah this weekend, going on a little hog excursion, try to shoot pigs, and should be a good trip. Let's see, what else have I got going on? I did put a different another night vision scope on one of my other guns.
Cool.
I went and sighted it in yesterday. A buddy of mine's going to use it this weekend. It actually records. It's one of the ATN X-Sight HDs.
Okay.
So
you record your hunt then?
Yep, I'm going to record the hunt. So got it sight. Dude, one thing I do like about that thing, man, it's got the one-shot zero, and that thing works pretty good.
Yep.
So got it zeroed in yesterday. It took me actually 3 shots. I was off the paper, so I zeroed and got it in, and I wound up adjusting it like 2 inches, to the left, and then I was dead in the money.
Good deal.
So got it going. I'm taking I hunt with the Axelson, so it's going to go. So I shot a little, some different ammo. A friend of mine worked me up some hog hunting rounds to try. So
cool.
I'm going to take those down. They're a little heavier. I've been shooting 55 grain Hornady red tips, the VMAX bullets, and they work pretty good. And he worked me up some 62 grain penetrator rounds or something. So I'm going to try them. I'm going to shoot one with it, see what it does.
Was it a Barnes bullet?
I don't know what bullet he puts in them. It's looks like a little hollow point, but 62 grain.
How hot does he have? Did he tell you?
That I don't know, but I can tell you, shooting the Hornady 55 grain and the 62 grain, I didn't even have to adjust the Axelson at 50 yards. I mean, they were all in a group about that big around, and I was like, close enough for government work.
Do you have a oh gosh, brain dying on me here. A chronograph?
I do not.
You might test a couple rounds and make sure you don't have any kind of over gas pressure. Make sure they're not too hot for your rifle.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to blow back your eyeball.
Yeah.
So,
that wouldn't be a good thing.
Yeah, check your cases. Make sure you don't have cracks or that the primers aren't poking out. If he's been reloading for a while, I'm sure he's reloading it safely, but
yeah, he has.
Just depends on the length of your barrel. If you're running a suppressor, there's all kinds of things that can affect reloading.
Right. Well, they're going through the Axelson, so
yeah,
it'll pretty much handle anything. So
yeah, I'm trying to load up some of the. Well, I guess I got to jump into my. Are you done with yours? I'm sorry, didn't mean to jump over you. Should
Let's
have
see.
got the God stuff.
One last thing. I did pick up. I did a little horse trading last week, and I wound up. I don't think I mentioned it on the show, but I picked up another lower with a Go Fast trigger in it.
Oh yeah.
So, hmm
Which kind of Foztech or the other one?
it's the Fostech. It's the actual Fostech 2. I guess it is. I told you that first one I got has the little switch inside the trigger well that you
Yep.
flip over for single shot, and then you flip it to the other side for echo mode. And it's just a single on the selector switch. It's just a safe and fire. But the new one I got has the safe, fire, and echo mode. So it's got the 3-position selector, so it stays out of the trigger, which I kind of like a little better. So I swapped that lower and put it on Puff and put Puff lower. Well, I haven't put Puff lower on anything yet, but changed the stocks out on them.
Right.
So I may put it on that Palmetto and take it this weekend. Use Go Fast mode on some pigs and see how that works.
Cool.
That'd be fun.
Multiple shots on a
Yeah.
moving target.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, man. When one's standing there looking at you and you get a shot off at him, it might be kind of nice to be able to double tap him pretty quick.
Yeah.
Because that thing is so fast, man. You don't have time to get off target. I mean,
Right.
It's like pow, pow, and it's done.
Yeah.
So if I could put 124 grains in him versus 62, we might have to try it.
Showing up.
That's it for me. What you been up to?
Bible reading. We actually went to church the last 2 Sundays. We had that 6-foot spacing stuff that little Governor Andy up here is making everybody
Oh my goodness!
jump through a bunch of stupid hoops. But did security last Sunday. Did in church security this Sunday. In actual service Sunday. And then let's see. Been doing the prayer and fasting show. I ended up fasting, like 5.5, 6 days out last week. I started my 9th week of fasting twice a week. And I'm just doing a water fast, or I might drink a tea or a coffee, but no sugar or anything like that. But so I've been doing a lot of prayer, a lot of fasting. Just lots of things I'm praying for right now. Of course, our state of our government, state of our country, state of a lot of things going on today, these days. Personal items, and then just we got some friends and family who are sick, and then a lot of requests from the show itself, morning shows. It's starting to grow. Got more and more people getting on every morning. I've been hitting all kinds of random times because I hit some people at one time and I had another group of people another time, depending on when they're taking breaks or when they're available. So I've just been shifting around. I'm not really landed on one particular time. I've tried really early in the morning and later in the night, and so it's been interesting to see all the different people that they're joining in on the show. So.
That's good.
Enjoying that. Yeah. Let's see what else. Pretty much it. I was editing on the fly here. God's on the gun side, of course. EDC carrying my concealed. I'm usually carrying open carry here on the farm, and I'm usually packing an AR pistol around, or I might pack the Falcor with me if I think if there's some wild dogs or something I got to take a longer shot with. We have a few wild dogs on the farm. Last 2 weeks we've had a couple. I don't know if they're wild or they're just someone's running a pack. You know how dogs getting running in a pack, and I'm trying to keep them from jumping my cattle and chasing my cattle around.
So did he have a collar on? I said, yeah. Why didn't you shoot him? Because he had that collar on. I said, buzzards eat around that.
Yeah. If they chase my cattle, I don't care if they got a collar. I don't care whose they are. If they're even my own, they start chasing my cows, and they ain't gonna be around long.
Easier to drag them out of the field.
Yeah, something to grab a hold of. But I'm working on some. I'm trying to do a clone of the Black Hills Mark 262 Mod 1s, the 77 grain 5.56 rounds. They push around 2750, I think, and That's what a lot of people say is like ultimate defense round. A lot of guys over the sandbox swear by them. It's supposed to have some devastating effect. I actually have 1,000 rounds of the Black Hills, but man, that stuff is pricey. I can build it for about 60 cents on the dollar for what I pay for Black Hills, maybe even less. Well, I mean, if you take the brass out, cost of brass, and what I've been picking up some primers for, I'm thinking I could probably get them closer to half. Those Sierra bullets, those Sierra 77 grain bullets, they're a little bit pricey. I think 500 of them cost me $150 plus shipping. So they weren't cheap by any means, but they're supposed to be really good bullets. But they're Match King bullet. So I don't know what they'll do on flesh. I assume they'll do with the Mark 262s will do, but it's supposed to be the same bullet from everything I can tell. Working on that and picked up some powder. I got some varmint powder, so I want to work up some varmint loads for 5.56. And I went through and did inventory on all my powders and stuff, so I know everything I got that I can make a recipe for. So got that all organized. Just been working around here on the farm, working on the garden. Garden's coming along good. Everything started shooting up, and now I got a lot of weeding to do. I've been doing some of that. Need to get the tiller out. Our corn, the first batch didn't come up. We had to plant a second batch. Now we're on to the third planting. I mean, I'm staggered them because we don't have so much we can't gather.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
Time and can and put up and all that stuff. We're gonna have tons of tomatoes. I think we got like 140 tomato plants out of different varieties. So
that's a bunch of tomatoes.
It's a lot of tomatoes. A lot of them we're gonna make for salsa though. The little small aromas and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Go chop them up, make salsa out of them. I've got some onions growing, just a little bit of everything. So we'll see how that goes. We're doing a better job at it than we've ever done before. So it started to come along. Of course, working on the cursed pool. Worked on that today. I mean, it's been up and going for a month now, but I had the little robot vacuum thing that we throw in there. I have to keep replacing parts on it. The salt pool seems to eat up the stainless steel rings and stuff on it faster than it should.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm replacing those, replacing some bushings and stuff, but it's running now. Solar cover, got a reel put together for that. So that's the sort of stuff I've been doing around the farm here. And then mowing, lots of had the cows tore down a barn door, so I've had to move the cows into the lower pasture while I work on the barn door, build a new one for it. They're always into something. Somebody broke into our barn about a week and a half ago, where we kept a deck boat in, and took a steel bar and broke the lock off the inside latch on it because they didn't know how to open a barn door up. But they didn't take anything. But the cows got inside because they left the door open, and when Gunner went over to water them, they all got spooked and ran through the door and busted it in half and swarmed it. So always something to do on the farm.
Oh yeah, never ends.
We need to bale some hay. We had our first cutting on alfalfa was really good, and it's ready for another cutting. I mean, it's already up tall, but Brad's been too busy to cutting his own alfalfa to get to mine, and I don't have a baler and a mowing machine or anything to cut my own hay. So I'm still looking to try to find a good, I don't know what kind of mowing machine to get. I mean, I know what I'd like, but it's a lot of money. I'm trying to find a used one somewhere. I can't really justify going out and buying new equipment. I just don't cut that much hay.
Right.
So looking around for some used stuff, but everything I find used is either rusted to beyond use or they want too much for it. So that's pretty much my stuff. I'll ramble on long enough. People done went to sleep. EDC check. What are you carrying tonight, Doug?
I got the Glock on me. Glock 19 9mm with the Student of the Gun night vision sights on it. And I don't have Puff out here with me tonight. Puff's in the house taking it. He's on break.
Yeah, Puff's on my bedside stand, sitting beside a Falcor. So the bunker gun is just my pistol tonight. My Glock 30S and 45 ECP. Because they don't make a 46. Well, actually, they do make a 460.
Certainly do.
But I don't have one of them. So 45 is as big as I got. Let's see. Feedback. I've got a lot of feedback for the prayer and fasting. I've not got any feedback for this show recently. So I guess we're going to move on to the joke of the week.
Joke of the week. So we're back to blonde jokes. I did get one little feedback though. One of our listeners sent me a picture of a new rifle. He just got his first. I think it's his first AR.
Oh, cool.
And so he was sending me a picture of it, showing it off, and I am proud for him. He's going to love it.
You do? Oh, we got feedback about somebody buying a crossbreed holster too.
We did. We sure did.
I don't have it in front of me.
That was on the elder group, I think.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, that's where.
I just remember when you said feedback about somebody buying something. He got used our guiding guns and got 10% off.
He did. I've had some people tell me they ordered PowerTac lights too, headlights and stuff, and
cool.
Had got those in and they were happy with them. So it's been a good week.
Good deal.
So I got us a blonde joke, man. Staying with the theme from last week.
You're making Krista happy.
I know how much Krista enjoys them. So a couple of blondes got lost in the mall. They went to the map where they saw a red arrow that said, "You are here." One blonde looks at the other one and said, "Wow, how did they know that?"
It's like magic.
I'm sorry, Krista.
It's magic.
How they know where we're at?
It's amazing. All right. Bible verse this week's going to be a little bit long. I think it's doable. Let me see if I can get to it before I'm going to put it up here where you guys can see it too. Maybe. I got to highlight it. Let's unhighlight that because that's going to make everybody's eyes cross.
I'm already doing it. I apologize, everybody, if you see me wiping my eyes a bunch today. I was working on the pool like Troy was, and I think I got a little bit of shock dust.
Some high-powered bleach in your eyeballs, huh?
Yeah, it's working good. Everything's kind of blurry.
Awesome. Psalms 11 is where we're going to be coming out tonight. I'm going to read verses 2 through the end, which is what, 7? Not very many. For behold, the wicked bend the bow, and they have fitted their arrow to the string, to shoot in the dark at the upright in heart. If the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes see, his eyelids test the children of man. The Lord tests the righteous, but his soul hates the wicked and the one who loves violence. Let him rain coals on the wicked. Let fire and sulfur and scorching wind shall be the portion of their cup. For the Lord is righteous. He loves righteous deeds, and the upright shall behold his face. So when we're in these times where people are attacking people, these verses seem very apropos to the times. Of course, this is one of David's Psalms 11, and he's talking about how that the wicked people are flinging their arrows. They're shooting in the dark. They're not really even taking aim. They're just shooting at good people. Does that sound familiar? Sounds like what's going on these days. Shooting the arrow. If their foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? It's like if you have to be uprooted because of the evil presence about you, what can you do? And then it goes into verse 4 here. It's talking about the Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven, but he sees and tests the children of man. His eyelids test the children of man. The Lord sees your heart. He doesn't see just the physical, but he sees what you think and feel. In another translation of this, besides the ESV I was reading, in verse 5 here, it says that the Lord tests the righteous and the wicked. But this one, it just says, Lord tests the righteous. So we are, in these times when we're under this kind of malicious, evil attack, and we know it's a malicious, evil attack, and the reason we know that is because the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Steal, kill, and destroy. That sounds very familiar to today's headlines. And so we know that God is going to judge them for their violence, and is going to judge them for the way they're acting, and is going to judge them for the harm that they bring. And then it's promised that their reward is going to be fire and sulfur, scorching wind, and coals falling up on their head. I have got a bunch of text coming in. Sorry about that. And then in verse 7 just wraps up saying, but the righteous, us who are believers, us who are putting faith and trust in God, that our reward is going to be that we're going to be able to see the face of God. We're going to be in heaven in glory, and we will not be judged and sent to the fiery place like those who are living for the devil. So that's just the verses. Psalms 11, pretty much the whole chapter. I just didn't take the first verse there. So it wasn't, I mean, it's applicable, but it's not really that much more to it. Anything you want to add in there, Doug?
It sounds a lot like what's going on today, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? It sounds very, very familiar. Did you hear, did you see the letter that President Trump retweeted this morning? Did you hear anything about it on the news?
I didn't. I ain't even looked at the news today.
There's I think it's a bishop or a cardinal that wrote a letter to President Trump telling him how that evil people, and he specifically named certain groups, were trying to take down the government, trying to take down the church, trying to lead people astray, are behind all of this protest, behind the COVID-19 scam. And he was linking all this stuff together. And this is like a high ranking out of the Vatican I think it's a cardinal. I'm not all that familiar with it, but I was listening to a show earlier today, and it was talking about it, and they read this guy's letter, and it was, man, I was like, man, if this guy's Catholic, I might listen to his sermons because he was speaking in a way that I have never heard a Catholic cardinal or bishop, and I've heard several sermons over the years, as my in-laws are Catholic, and I've heard several other things, but there was nothing like this letter laid out, and it got no play in the media at all. If it hadn't been for Twitter, nobody would have heard about this thing. So you guys might look into that. I went live when I was listening to the guy read this letter, and I was really surprised by the honesty and all the information that he divulged out, and talking about how he was praying for Trump, and he was praying for the American people. He was praying for the Christians in America, that we would be awakened to this enemy that is trying to attack us. And so I thought it was very important. I thought it was very, very interesting. What's that?
He'll probably be ostracized.
Yeah, he'll probably get kicked out of the thing, because with the guy in there is the Pope right now. I don't see. Well, I'll let God judge him. It's not my place.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so our main topic tonight, we're just sort of shooting from the hip here. We see that Antifa, BLM, and KKK was yesteryear of the dim terrorist groups, but the Antifa and the Black Lives Matter taking over Portland. Is that what you heard?
It's a new country, I heard.
They're taking over a portion of the country, and they're extorting protection money from the businesses, and they're carrying guns, I hear.
Yeah.
and that they're demanding free everything. Sounds like I heard that.
No police departments, no nothing. Just
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that they've declared themselves their own nation and have appealed to the UN, as I understand it. But yet, what they're claiming that they want is free health care, free college, free every food, housing, all this stuff. But they got 7 square blocks. I don't know how they're going to fund it with the taxes off of 7 square blocks, who they're demanding it from, because if they've declared themselves their own country, they sound like they're not very bright.
Sure. They're not. I can't believe we haven't went back in there and put a stop to that nonsense.
The last I heard is Trump gave him 72 hours to clean up the act there to Washington State, right? Or is it?
Yeah, Seattle. It's in Seattle.
Okay, it's not Portland, Seattle.
I think it's Seattle.
Okay, so but I've heard he's gave him like 72 hours, or maybe it was Attorney Barr was giving him 72 hours to get this straightened up. Or are they going to send in the feds to, because if they're declaring themselves as a separate nation, I think that makes them invading army, right? Invading, and they're taking over and holding Americans hostage. So lethal force, they could come in there with some Blackhawks and some some sniper teams and some SEALs. I mean, 4 SEALs could probably take the whole thing in about 14 seconds.
Yeah, I'm
synchronized shots, and they all drop. I don't know where we got to here, Doug. What do you think is going on where people are thinking that this is that they're empowered to the point where they're starting to take territory?
Man, I don't even know. It's just, I almost can't even watch the news at night. It just gets me so frustrated. I yell at the TV and everything else.
I've been at your house when you watched the TV.
Yeah.
I think we were both yelling one night there.
Yeah, we were. Dude, I don't understand. I just, I get, hey, I'm all in favor of protesting. That's a constitutional right. I am 100% behind it. But protesting is not rioting, looting, killing, car bombing.
Stealing, killing, and destroying?
Steal, kill, and destroy,
Dragging people out of the cars and beating them to death or putting them in the hospital?
Yeah, I tell people that argue with me about it, I'm like, hey, Troy and I went to Virginia to protest.
Mm-hmm.
And it was peaceful, and there was probably 50 or 60,000 people there.
Yeah.
All of them were heavily armed.
Yeah.
Antifa was there too, and they didn't want to start.
They were smart that day.
They were, but they had their plan, to infiltrate and get things stirred up. But luckily, people didn't bite into that nonsense, and it was very peaceful, and which is the way it should be. You go get your message heard, and that's what you got to do. But when you start burning down and killing people, it's ridiculous.
Well, there's the flip side to this, which we all know is they're communist, and so communists love to have overthrows and love to have
anarchy,
revolutions. They're all about revolutions.
Mm-hmm.
But their revolution is to put everybody into slavery. Our revolution that we had here, 250 years ago, 240 something years ago, was to give everybody freedom. And I know that we had slaves for the first 60 something years until the Civil War, but we got that straightened out, right? But our revolution was to bring freedom, about freedom. Their revolution is to put everybody under the boot of communism, where you don't have freedom. I don't know why people are so ignorant to the fact that if you are no longer a citizen, you're a subject, or you're a slave of the state,
right?
And to get up and demand to be made into slaves is a whole level of ignorance that I just don't understand how you can get to that point, especially when this stuff is what's taught in college by college professors that they're going to somehow be liberated. But you know where the separation, you know where they feel liberated at? That they get to tell Christians to be quiet and they can't have church and you can't worship God and you have to take God out of the equation. So when you think about it that way, we're really fighting a spiritual battle. It's a spiritual battle here that's playing out before everybody.
Of course.
And so I saw a video with what is it, Terentius, Terentius Rex, you know, the long range shooter guy that's got his own YouTube channel and stuff. He put out a video where they were some Antifa groups or Black Lives Matter groups that were coming in and they were scouting these small towns up in Montana. And so they were going to go in there and start protesting and start rioting and stuff in these towns. And he had organized, or they were already organized, and they recognized these guys were from those groups. They were actually saying what they were going to do in restaurants and stuff. They were in there eating restaurants. And they were declaring what they were going to do. I posted that video over our Facebook page for people to watch because these guys are coming out to your communities. I mean, I don't think they're coming to little Magnolia, Kentucky, where I live at. But where Doug lives, I bet you they're in your town.
Sure.
But because, I mean, they may come, I doubt they come to Hodgeville. I mean, I don't know what, I guess they could get upset at Abraham Lincoln. His statue's on the square.
Yeah, Lincoln statue.
You know, if they want to free the slaves back in the Civil War times, I guess they could get upset about that. And try to destroy that statue and try to burn and loot. But the thing is you got to be keeping your eyes open because the way that communists take over is they create chaos. They're all about creating chaos. And in that crisis of chaos, as we keep seeing crises pop up, killer bees and COVID-19 and now, race riots in the streets and things, those are the ways that they become to power because there's not enough idiots out there to actually bring them into power. It takes a lot of magnification of force. And so they go in and they try to wreak fear. And so people will capitulate and will give in to their demands. And so don't let them get that far. If you have time, be observant, go check out your areas where there might be people that are scouting around and things. I'll just reference you to that video because he does a lot better job than I do. But we've got a situation here. If people don't start stepping up and getting off the keyboards and going out in the streets and confronting these people and telling them to go home and get back in their mama's basement, if we don't start doing that, we're going to have these little fires all over the country. And then there's going to be martial law. And so you don't want martial law. You don't want police in your streets. You want to take care of that stuff yourself. That's why we have the Second Amendment. The security of a free state, the people must be armed, right? That we can defend our own communities. If we don't step up and do it, and we let a federalized police force come in to rule over our local police forces and things like that, you're going to lose your freedoms. When you give power to the government because you're not willing to go out and do something about it, then you are then giving power to the government to do something when you don't want them to do something, or to tell you or give you martial law or make you stay at your house and not be able to go out, and you lose your freedoms. Because what happens when you have unruly people who won't obey the law and won't behave as they should, you have to have a strong government presence, and then they don't they don't care whether you're a good person or a bad person. Everybody's got to follow the same mold. When you have a power person over the top of you, they hold everybody down, and they take away that liberty and freedom that you've enjoyed most of your life, and they replace it with authoritarian, jackboot thug kind of things. You think what happened to George was bad? I mean, it was bad. I'm not saying there was anything right about that at all. It was horrible. That was atrocious. That guy needs to go to prison for life or be executed or whatever needs to be done for doing something stupid like that. But that was one guy. That's not us out here. We didn't have nothing to do with that. But if we let these people take our freedoms away, if we let people put us under subject us to federalized police, because if you get rid of your local police departments, there's going to be a cry for someone to come help from people who aren't willing to do it themselves. I mean, it's one thing to say I'm going to go out and patrol and check out and make sure my communities, but actually go out and do it and confront bad guys. Ain't many people like that out there.
Well, it's going to be vigilante justice is exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah.
People are going to go out, just like you said, and protect what's theirs and protect their communities and protect everything else. And I don't understand this movement about defunding police departments and all this nonsense. That is just ridiculous. That's the most crazy thing I've ever heard. And the city council in Minnesota are probably the biggest nitwits I've ever seen in my life. You know, I'll be the first one to tell you, you know, I back the blue. I back cops. And are all cops perfect? No. Are there some buttholes? Yes, there are. But, you know, there's jerks. If you go to the doctor, there's jerks that are doctors. There's jerks that are mechanics working on your cars. You know, just because one doesn't make them all bad.
Right.
You know, the military, you know, when I was in the military, I worked with some outstanding people the whole time in my 20 years. Now, did I run across a few that were just jerks? Yes, I did, you know, and you try to weed those out and get rid of them. But the problem with the police departments like New York and some of these other ones, is that these unions, so that the guy that they got on trial now for in Minnesota, he had 17 complaints against him. He should have been gone.
Yeah.
He was only on the force like 19 years and had 17 complaints. That's your first clue right there. He needs to go.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say all police officers are bad, because they are not. You know, I've worked with these guys doing community events and different things when I was in city council, and they go out on their own time and do neighborhood watch programs that help people set up things. They're doing all kinds of good things.
Sure. Yeah. You know, the thing that we got that you have to be cognizant of is that if they do away with the local police forces, then you have a federalized police. You don't have local response to issues. You don't have people from that community. If you have your own local police force, you can go to the local chief and say, hey, man, this cop is giving me down the road, is giving me troubles. We need to do something about it. And they can be addressed locally and taken care of. You got somebody coming in from another town, another country, another state, and they become in a federal force. You don't have anybody to appeal to. I mean, you got to appeal to a federal person, which isn't in your local town. So you have to be responsible for your own safety of your own community. So step up and talk to your sheriff and say, hey, man, do you need backup? Do you need a posse? Do you need special deputies or whatever? In case, you know, Antifa rolls into town, you only got 7 people on your police force, and 50 people show up in a bus and come out with their Molotov cocktails and pallets of bricks. What are you going to do? And so it's important we need to support our police. Now there's, as Doug said, there's bad police, there's good police, there's all kinds, just like everybody else. There's good, bad of everything. But when there's a bad person in the local force, you can take care of that. If you're on a federal force, or you got National Guard in your town trying to take care of things, they're trained to kill people and blow up things. I mean, they're not trained to police things. They're not trained in how to deal with. I mean, they may be getting more trained in that, but
not a diplomacy going on.
Yeah, their job is not, defending the citizens. Their job is to go in there and kill people and blow things up and destroy infrastructure. We don't want that in our towns. A habeas corpus is for a reason. It's because you don't want to have battling going on inside of your communities. And so it's important that you've got to step up. If you want the freedoms that you've enjoyed for your children, your grandchildren, you're going to have to get involved, and it's going to require more than Facebook and Twitter. And I'm just right there with you guys. It's going to require you to step up and be involved in your community, run for office, run for local offices. Make sure that you aren't letting little communists get in there and start messing up your town, your county, and your state. Do what you can do, run against these people, oppose them, and go to the meetings and tell them, hey, this is wrong. This is not what America's founded on. These are not principles by which we want to be living under. We don't want to live under communism. We don't want to live under authoritarian rule. We don't want governors telling us we can't go to church. We don't want this garbage. And, we have all of our freedoms that we will defend. If we don't defend them, we won't have them. So there's that.
You're 100% right. Somebody's going to have to stand up if the police department that are paid in these cities to take care of stuff like this and be the first line of defense are not if the mayors and governors are not going to allow them to do that, somebody's going to do it.
Yep. Somebody's got to step up. I understand entirely. We are on the same page. We have got comments raining down on us over here. I can't keep up with them. I appreciate you guys joining in. What do you think about President Trump has talked about declaring them as a terrorist group? Have you heard that actually go through yet?
I heard that they were going to classify them as a terrorist group. Hey, there's videos of these guys going around and paying people and telling them where to go break out windows and giving them money to go do it.
And when they take that money, they're no longer a protester.
No, they are not.
They are being paid.
Agitator.
Yeah, they are a terrorist group. Ron's right.
Yep.
So we have to start speaking up locally across the country. We've got to start making our voices heard, because people are sitting back and are to the point where they're just bewildered by the way things are going. I know that when I've had to travel, when the last time this happened was about 2016, when they had all the riots. What was that? It was in St. Louis and Ferguson, all that area there.
Yep.
And I'm like, how can you hold somebody hostage in their vehicle, stopping traffic, stepping out in the interstate and stuff like that? And it happened to be that Gunnar and I were in Montana and Idaho and Washington State and all that stuff out there fishing and stuff. And we were on our way back, and all this stuff was burning down in Ferguson, and all these things were going on. And we loaded up for bear. I already had an AR with me, and then we won that one at that event. And we were picking up, I think I talked about it last time, we picked a bunch of ammo and stuff along the way. I was like, we're just going to have to do our best to get home. We're not looking for trouble. In fact, I talked about going way out of the way to go down through Cape Girardeau, come in through the far low wetlands of Western Kentucky, come back just to avoid the possibility of running into trouble. I wasn't wanting trouble, but we're at a point in time, when people will stop your car and dare you to try to drive through them, and then yank you, beat you, and kill you, and steal your stuff. And nothing's happening. I don't see. Do you see the police going there and yanking these people up and hauling them off? I don't see video of that. Do you see that?
No, they're not.
I'm not seeing it. They just back off and let them just pillage. I mean, it's what it is. It's raping and pillaging, and I don't know about raping, but pillaging and destruction and murder. It's just wanton endangerment of citizens, and people are advocating their responsibility. I don't see how these mayors aren't being held accountable. They should be being sued. They should be losing their offices. They should. These police chiefs should be fired for accepting an order that's unconstitutional. Well, Wendy is fired up, isn't she?
Yeah.
You get it, Wendy. But it's just the point where lawlessness is reigning, and the people who are being paid to do what they're supposed to be doing aren't doing it. And so it falls upon the citizens to defend themselves. And we may end up going to jail. I think Stephen was saying earlier, I want to do this, but I'm afraid I'm only the one that ended up going to jail. And it might be, especially if Governor Andy here in Kentucky has his way, he's going to put the good people in jail and leave the rioters and the destroyers out. I don't see how people can, in good conscience, allow that to continue to happen, unless it's just John 8:44 people, children of the devil, that would allow that to happen. And the ironic thing was, I saw an interview where one of the guys that was leaving the Antifa rally, Antifa protest thing, white guy, was at the Antifa thing protesting with them, went, got his car, was leaving. They drug him out of the car and beat him to pieces. And he said, "What are you doing? I'm part of y'all. I'm part of y'all." They beat him all to pieces and stole his stuff. I'm like, dude,
broke out of the herd.
I just, I don't get it. One guy said, I was watching a guy, he said he's going to get a whole bunch of Trump stickers and go down to the rally, and for every Antifa car he saw with Antifa and Bernie stickers and stuff like that, he's going to put a Trump sticker over it so they'd all destroy their own vehicles.
Put a Trump sticker on every one of them.
Go around, put Trump stickers over all the Bernie stickers and all the Black Lives Matter stickers. That guy's thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, Book of Eli. That is a fun movie in it. Book of Eli. I hadn't seen that in several years.
Mm-hmm.
He's blind. He's shooting people at distance, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's becoming in these big cities. I mean, it has. I mean, well, they had in Louisville. They've had protests up there like for weeks. But pretty much they put a stop to that. We had a protest in, of all places, Glasgow, Kentucky, but it wasn't Antifa people. It was, I mean, it wasn't that I know of. It was local people protesting over the violence, and I'm fine with that. Protest all you want to. That's our First Amendment right to protest. But when you start picking up bricks off of a pallet that was sitting in front of a building, and you start throwing firebombs into police stations, that you went way out there.
Well, the thing in Louisville, which is one thing that I just do not agree with whatsoever, happened because of a no-knock warrant. They went into the wrong house,
right?
And well, look at it this way: if somebody broke into your or my house in the middle of the night,
they get shot. They're
going to get shot. They might not get shot, but they go get shot at. Because we're not going to play that.
Well, my dogs let me know, and then I've got video cameras and motion sensors, and so it's going to be known.
They did the exact same thing there, and the guy shot, and they shot back and killed his girlfriend, who was an EMT. And they were at the wrong place.
Yep.
And there should be way too many checks and balances when they do something like that, when they go to a no-knock warrant, to make sure they are in the right spot and they have the right place.
Well, it's endangering their lives as much as anybody. I mean,
it is. We had an officer that got shot here several years ago. They did a no-knock warrant, and they were raiding a drug house, but it was like 2:00 in the morning. And when they kicked the door open, it startled the drug dealers, and they started shooting, and they killed one of the deputies that came in through the door. And they had them. I guess them guys are still in jail. I don't think they're going to ever get out, probably.
Well, there's been cases where innocent citizens were minding their own business, and the police broke into busted in the wrong house and got shot, and the homeowner didn't get charged because it was a police fault. They were in the wrong spot. but in these big cities, I don't. That's not, prosecutors going, and then you're going to always have the police department following you around looking to get you on anything for the rest of your life. You got to move off to Alaska or something to keep from getting pulled over every time you go to get you a Dairy Queen cone or something.
Right.
So it's just a bad situation. It's a fallen world, and it's not going to get any better till we all get to heaven. So, but Ron was saying that if he had our platform, he pushed for a cross country militia, a cross county or country. Yeah, I tried a militia here in the state, and so here's what I found. You got people that mean well, and you got people that are of a lot of emotion, and you've got people who don't always make wise decisions, and it's important who you follow. And I love everybody, and I don't wish harm on nobody, and I try to go that way, and I've been a long time oath keeper, and but as far as the state goes, we don't really have any kind of oath keeper Kentucky group that is very well founded. And I'm not going to speak bad about anybody, but I was being herded into decisions that were made at the spur of a moment, in the heat of the moment, and I can't do that with my platform. And so I've had to distance myself from some guys because they were really righteously upset about things that are going on here in the state, but I don't want to align myself to the point where I am being put into a position I don't agree with what was said or done.
Right.
So it's important that we have our own local, close by your own personal community. And if you want to connect up with other groups, that you can be autonomous yet be cross supporting, I'm all for that. I think that if you got local guys that you can weed out the weirdos and the hotheads, you don't want to be connected to a group that's got hotheads, because that's going to get you in trouble, may get you put in jail.
Yep. May
cause you lose everything you got. And so it's a hard line. And so you really need local autonomy and local things where you can pick the leaders, and these guys and you've been around them. And so in my position, I have lots of people around me who I trust, that I have encouraged to get training in certain things, and my own family is pretty good shots about everything. And so so I encourage you, build your own fire team. If you can get 4 guys together that will come and defend your place to their last drop of blood, I'm all for that. I'm wanting that myself, but I have a hard time finding able-bodied men that are willing to say, "Hey, man, I'm coming," and say, "I'm going to go and fight to the bloody end if that's what it takes." I will do that, but to know that I've got enough guys that will come and do that for me, I know I've got a few. Do I have a fire team? Not yet. I'm working on it. I'm always looking for guys to put in my group. And at one time when I was in Glasgow, I was set. I mean, we had a good, solid group. But now I'm back up here. I got lots of good farmer friends around here, and they would do that for me, and I would do that for them. But as far as being organized and properly trained and training together, I wish we had that, and I'm wanting that, but it's not something that happens overnight. It's not something you just throw together. It's something you have to work together, and everyone's wives are going to have to let them go and get trained, and it's a lot to ask for people. It's not, it sounds good on paper until the first meeting, and then nobody shows up.
Yep.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, it's no different than doing things in your church.
That's true.
10% of the people do 90% of the work.
Right.
And it's just like anything else. And you're talking about the bad ones in the group you were in up there. it's like anything else. You're going to have bad apples that
Yep.
you got to get rid of and get them out.
Yep. Yep. And by all means, if you can get a mutual support group, uh, and train together and have each other's back, that's a great thing. That's what the Second Amendment's about. That you have a community of people that will defend their themselves, their homes, and have the arms and the ability and the stamina to do it, because it's not a young man's game. I mean, it is a young man's game. It's not. I mean, at my age, I'm feeling it. I mean, so I lost weight, I can pack more bullets. But as far as getting out there and climbing up down hills and running around in the dark and being able to lay down fire and stuff like that, I'm not as fast as I used to be. I've tried to refine my tools so that I'm more accurate at distance. So
Exactly.
I've got more options as far as busting down doors and stuff like that. Hey guys, I'm over in Overwatch.
We're getting into the long range shooting. I saw a T-shirt the other day, and everybody knows that I love T-shirts. And I saw one the other day that had a long rifle. He had a Barrett or something on there, and it said, "Never mess with a guy that can punch your lights from a different zip code."
Yeah. There's liability to that, but there's a lot to be said for a guy that's got a good rifle with a good optic on it that can hit targets at distance. You need a designated marksman. You need a patrol leader. So, hey, Ryan's over here. Yeah, he's his Marine Corps days are far behind him.
Yeah, I've been trying to talk to Ron about. Ron works with me, so
okay.
yeah, he's a buddy of mine. So he was in the Marines, and I've been telling him about Oath Keepers. So
Yeah,
maybe I'll get him in.
Yeah, and Oath Keepers has a mutual support team, like a fireman team. They'll come in and train you. You get some guys together, they'll come in, or they'll have local guys come in that are military. And Ron being Marine, I'm sure he could do a 4-man, 5-man squad team where he could come in and train on that kind of stuff. But I mean, they've got all the materials to do that kind of stuff. And we need to have Oath Keepers
back on again.
Yeah, you have Stuart. Stuart's so busy, man. He's all over the country.
Oh yeah, yes.
But it's important that you are able to have your own teams to defend your own communities, and I encourage you to do that, because the days of everybody getting along and kumbaya, it appears to be put back. And I'm praying for revival. Understand me. I'm praying for revival that God's the Holy Spirit pour out in this nation. That people will recognize their sin and repent and turn to God. I am praying hard for that. If you guys have been on the morning shows, I pray every single day for that.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from God coming in and doing this, we're looking at some rough days. I've trained my children. Gunner's been through some classes. He got a 2-day defensive pistol class coming up through Bulwarks here. I want to be prepared. Gunner was black. Has been did karate for 7 years. Got his black belt. Almost got his second degree. I want my kids to be able to defend themselves and be able to deal with the world that we got coming. And I'm not a doomsdayer as far as that goes, because God's in control.
Mm-hmm.
But people have sat back and waited for God to show up before, and their houses have burned down, and they've lost everything all over the world. And so to think it can't happen here in America, you're lying to yourself. It can happen here as well as anywhere else. Now, we're more well armed probably than anybody else, but are we well practiced enough? Are we able to use the maneuvers and patrols and all these things? No, we're just varmint hunters and hunters and farmers with guns and pistol shooters. It's a whole different realm in trying to defend a property or things like that.
I mean, you've been to the Bulwark classes. I've been to a Bulwark's class, and I'm going to go to some more because they're just awesome.
Yep.
But I like me and my son-in-law were up at the range one day when he got his puff.
Yep.
And we were up there shooting it and stuff. And I was going over some of the drills and stuff that we did through the bulwarks class and teaching them to him. So
Right.
if you go through the class, you could show somebody how to do a mag reload or
Yeah.
a mag swap, or transition from clearing a jam on your gun to transition from your rifle to a pistol. If your gun malfunctions, that kind of thing, you can show people how to do that.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. And that's
family members and stuff.
that's part of the mutual assurance thing. That's part of like Oath Keepers is part of what 3%ers want to be. You have skills that you've learned. You come and you teach that to the other members, and then you practice it, and you practice it, and you practice it some more, and you keep drilling until you get it down pat, and then you learn a new skill and another new skill, and you learn medical, and you learn how to patch holes and all these different things. It's important that everyone understands when things go crazy, all you've got is what skills you've got, the tools you've got already in place, and the people that you've got with you. And if they aren't trained, and if they don't know how to do it, then you're up a creek, because you can only do so much. One person can't stay up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You got to have people that you can rotate in and out. You got to have people that know how to do medical. If you get shot, you need somebody else that knows how to do medical. You can't do everything. Now, I got all these skills over the years, and I've tried to teach them, but other people need to go get different skills, so that you're not having to learn everything for yourself.
Yep. That's like my daughter, she wanted a gun. And so I told her, I said, come over to the house, I hook you up. So we sat in the living room for probably 20 or 30 minutes practicing mag changes on it, just to practice. This is how you do it. This is how you hold it. This is how you look at it when you put the mag in and back on target,
Mm-hmm.
And when she got done, she was proficient at it, man. She could slap and rack and rock on.
Yeah. It's not the rocket science. It just takes someone to instruct them, and then it just takes repetitive repetitive practice. And so dry fire, you can really improve your shooting without ever shooting. Just doing dry fire, just getting up there and breaking that trigger and making sure that gun is rock steady. As you break that trigger, you pull up, you break that trigger. Moving. You learn how to draw from concealment, how to grab your garment, how to keep your hand out of the way. You can do all that stuff with a plastic gun. You don't even have to have a real gun just to practice that stuff. And of course, the bulwarks, the class, one of the first things that Eric taught me long before bulwarks was ever, I think it was AIM, or maybe it was something before that. There was another school he had before that. And one of the first things he taught me is every day when you go to put your gun on, you're going to have it clear. You're going to take your mag out, take your, make sure it's empty, make sure it's clear. And when you put that holster on, you're going to take the time to drill that practice with whatever you're wearing. So today I'm wearing a t-shirt, and you would practice grabbing that t-shirt, pulling it out of the way, clearing the gun out, keeping it safe distance, and, your 5-step draw, clear, and doing that 10 times. And then load up your gun, put it in your holster, and you go about your day. At the end of the day, when you get ready to take the gun off, put it on the bedside stand or whatever you're going to do with it, clear it, empty it out, do the same drill, same 10 times, the 5-step drill, pulling it out, practicing dry, breaking your shot, scanning, looking over your shoulders, making sure that everything's clear, then reholstered 10 times in the morning, 10 times at night when you're taking your gun off. And I've done that for years.
Oh, yeah.
To the point now that it's just, I just reach and grab, smack my chest or grab my garment, whatever I'm going to do, if I got a t-shirt on. So these are all things you can learn. I mean, you can learn a lot of stuff on YouTube. I would pick a really good instructor on YouTube that knows what they're talking about. There's some instructors out there that do flips and karate kicks and spin around shooting. Don't follow those guys. But there's some good instruction out there, and you can dry fire and practice all this stuff at your house. All the ammunition out of the room, the gun you're practicing with, right? Or get you a blue gun, or get you a cert pistol, or whatever. But get the practice in. How do we get off this? We're a long ways from it.
Dude, I can't tell you how how many times I've sat in my living room with an unloaded gun, make sure it's unloaded, nothing in it, and dry fire. I'll pick a spot, I'll pick a light switch, and I'll pull up on the light switch and pull the trigger. And if that sight moves, keep doing it.
Yeah, you can put your dime or a penny or something on the end of your slide, and if it moves, you know that Doug needs to be a gun instructor. Yes, he does. But put your something up there so that you can practice and make sure that penny or that dime or whatever you want to put on there doesn't move when you break that trigger. So you're keeping it steady. You got the proper amount of application of pressure, and you break that shot. That's when we were first married. I would unload my gun, and when we were watching a TV show or a movie or something, whoever bad guy was on there, whoever guy I didn't like on there, that was my target. I was following him on the screen. Chris, like, what are you doing? I'm practicing my trigger control, and I would sit there. And this was 25 years ago. I sit there, and she said, "Stop doing that. You're making me nervous." I said, "It's empty. She'll clear." But we sat there, and she just got, after a while, she got used to it. That I'm sitting there, and click. I'm sitting there, click, and I'm following this dude on the screen, and I'm doing a headshot. Look, ear, eyeball. For people that don't know you, they think you're nuts, and people still might think I'm nuts. I don't know, but
I don't necessarily do it all the time when company's over.
Oh no, I don't know when company's over. When company's over, it's loaded and ready to go.
Right.
You never know when somebody's going to wig out.
Hey, Doug is going to be a pistol instructor as soon as he wins his lawsuit against New Jersey, and I'm going to go up and see my buddy Anthony.
Yeah,
I'm going to go up, and I'm going to go to Woodland Park Range at Gun for Hire, and I'm going to take all 3 rifle and shotgun instructor courses. And he told me I could come up, and he would run me through a whole weekend and get me certified on all of them. And I'm going to do that as soon as I win my lawsuit.
Bulwark's has got instructor courses too.
Do they?
In case New Jersey blows up.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They got some classes to make you a instructor. When you go through all their classes, I think that's when they start talking to you about being an instructor.
Well, I want to, but I can't. It doesn't seem like I can get enough folks down here to get Jesse and the guys down here.
Yeah, I guess you're going to have to travel up to old Kentucky.
I know. I need to anyway. Spend a weekend, come up, take a class.
Maybe Ryan could get a bunch of his friends to show up, and y'all can have a class down there.
Yeah, there you go.
I heard there's some weird stuff going on down there in Georgia.
Weird stuff?
Yeah, well, y'all had a good election, I heard, though.
Yeah, well, we had an election. But I'll tell you what, first time I voted in Bibb County since we moved. Yeah. And dude, there's got to be at least 180,000 people in Bibb County. I would venture to say, just roughly. The mayor's race, which is very important to me. And me and Wendy both went and voted, made sure we went and voted. Do you know I counted up all the votes and there was like 21,000 people voted. That's it.
Jeez.
Total.
Oh, they only counted the paper ballots that were delivered by somebody, probably.
Well, well, you should say that. So I go in to vote. I don't know where we're going with this, but whatever. But I go in to vote. They give me the little card to put in the voting machine. I go make my choices. Well, at the end, you hit print, and there's a little printer sitting next to it, and it prints out your ballot. And you take your card up, and your little stylus that you were marking the thing with because of COVID. We can't touch another stylus. So you hand them the stylus, hand them your card, and you take your paper ballot and you feed it into this machine, and it counts it some way. I've never seen that. I guess
it's Kentucky. They've been they've been stealing our elections for years with it.
Huh.
But it's supposed to be that way you got a paper ballot backup, and then there's a scan, supposedly.
Got you.
So I don't, it's this whole thing here in Kentucky, they've moved our primary back. It was supposed to be in April. They moved it back to June the 23rd. And we can't vote but one place. We can't have our local precincts. We have to go all the way to the county seat. And everybody that's a Democrat has been telling me how I need to go ahead and get me a paper ballot and vote for them. And I've not seen any Republicans tell me that. They told me to go vote. But everybody's ads, this girl running against Mitch McConnell is on like every social media feed, like every single ad. She must have a war chest the size of Fort Knox because she is spending money like I ain't never seen before. The Democrats want to get rid of Mitch. So it is everywhere I see this woman. And so I don't know. I think the election. I think they're going to steal as much as they can as this election.
Oh, hey, so I wanted to do this one last thing with Romans. So there was a show on TV the other night, which I did not watch, but I saw excerpts of it, which really ticked me off. But my favorite Georgia person, socialist Stacey Abrams, who wants to be something so bad she can't stand it. She made a comment the other day that the thing that happened in Minnesota with putting his knee across his neck and killing him, she referenced that to deer hunters. She said, that's the way deer hunters do it. She said, I don't kill deer, but I know how it's done. And after you shoot them, you go down and put your knee across their neck and choke the life out of them. And I'm like,
she saw, what was that movie? Red Dawn. When where they went down there, they stuck a knife in the deer's neck.
Yeah.
And after they shot him, they put a knee on his neck and squirted the blood in the cup, made the boy drink it or something.
Yeah, I mean
that's where it came from.
Dude, I guess that's where she got her reference that she knew how to hunt, I guess. I don't know. But I've been hunting for 40 years or more, probably more. And I've killed a bunch of deer in my life. And not one time have I ever got down next to one and kneeled across it to try to choke the life out of it. I'm like, are you serious? This is where you're going with this? Oh, it just ticked me off, dude. It just ticked me off. I ain't gonna say no more. I'm really gonna get riled.
Well, the thing that I couldn't believe the other day is they were all on the all these Democrats were at George's funeral, and they all went down there and they all went down and showed how the cop choked out George. They all got down on one knee. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
I was like, dude, that's just wrong. They're all down there just like that cop in that picture. Had his knee on his neck. They was all down on one knee. I was like, taking a knee for George. It's not. I mean, I feel sorry for that he died. I am not laughing at that at all. I'm just laughing at the hypocrisy of their actions, the position they chose to assume to eulogize the man. You can't make that stuff up. I'm like, you're in the same position as the cop was at his funeral. Oh, it's a big show. It's a big show. It's all politics all the time. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of Republicans and I'm sick of Democrats. I'm sick of Republicans saying they're going to do something and go up there and don't do a thing. I am so sick of that. I am sick of them lying, saying they're going to go up there, they're going to defend their rights, and then they negotiate away. I'm talking about you, Mitch McConnell.
Yes.
I am so sick of just the lying, deceitful politicians of both parties.
My thing is, politicians are like diapers. They should be changed often for the same reason.
Yeah, they should get one term and that's it. They don't need no 2 terms. Need 1 term and they're out of there. All right, let's see. We're going to thank our sponsors, then we're going to jump into the Armed Citizen. Unless you got something else you want to add to this, Doug?
No, let's roll.
Ron Campbell's running 2024. Got my vote, Ron. I don't know what you're running for.
So you going to run for something?
Run for something. All right. We want to thank Oath Keepers. We appreciate them putting our show out there and so everybody can see us, and hopefully that's a good thing. I also want to thank Wally over at Sub MOA Shooting. He's the one to source those bullets for me, those Sierra bullets. If you guys need some bullets, check him out at submoashooting.com and use our code God and Guns, and he will give you something discount. I think 10%.
10%. Yep.
And you got the rest of them.
Hey, Crossbreed holsters. You've heard us talk about it. Crossbreed makes the most comfortable holster you're ever going to wear. Troy and I both carrying the Super Tuck Deluxe, but they got just about any way you want to carry. They make a holster for you for just about any gun you want to carry. So go check our buddies out at crossbreedholsters.com. Use the promo code GNG, and they will give you a 10% discount just for listening to the show. Also, Axelson Tactical. I got the axe going to Savannah this weekend on a hog mission, and it is a tack-driving machine. So if you want a precision rifle or custom-made long-range gun or even a custom pistol, Axelson has one for you. Go check our buddies out at axelsonusa.com and use the promo code God and Guns, and they'll give you 10% also. Power Tack lights. You heard me talking about it. I got my headlamp that's going out. I just got a new M5, which I did a little video on it the other morning, actually, at like 3:30 in the morning when I couldn't sleep, which I do quite often. So I said, well, everybody's been asking for the little, wanted me to do a video to show how bright it was. So I did that. And that is not even one of the brightest ones that they have. That was only 1,300 lumens, which is still a bright light. And you saw how bright it is. You mount it on a gun, have it in your pocket, keep it in your truck, whatever, buy one for your kids, put in their car. But PowerTac makes a great light. Go check them out at powertac.com. Use a promo code God and Guns over there, and they will give you 40% off just for listening to us. Now, they did change a little bit. We were wearing them out on their sale and promotional stuff, so they slowed down on that a little bit. But if you want to buy a flashlight, you'll get 40% off of it. And if they're giving you 50% off on something else, well, you get 50% off on something else. They won't let you double stack the coupons anymore, so that was a good ride while it lasted. But anyway, go check them out, powertac.com. Also, Palmetto State Armory, if you're looking for gun parts, pieces, ammo, pistols, you name it, they got it. So if you need the affiliate link, go through that. It doesn't cost you any money. You just help Troy and I out. And everything that you guys spend on Palmetto State Armory, they send a little bit back to us and show us a little love.
Good deal. All right, Armed Citizen of the Week, what you got?
All right, this comes to us from Phoenix. An armed homeowner put an end to a Phoenix man's late night crime spree in Phoenix, Arizona, giving Maricopa County Sheriff's deputies an opportunity to arrest the man. Police first received notice that a 32-year-old suspect spree after receiving a call regarding a stolen vehicle around 10 p.m. on April 16th. The man forced his way into the vehicle, leading to a struggle between the assailant and the car's owner, who suffered minor injuries from the fight. The suspect took control of the car and drove off. The car thief then made his way to a residential neighborhood where he broke into a home. Inside the residence, the suspect was confronted by the homeowner, who shot. Officers arrested the trespasser at the scene and took him to the hospital for treatment. The man was later booked in the Maricopa County Jail on charges of robbery, theft of means of transportation, and residential burglary and trespass. And that comes to us from ABC 15 in Phoenix, Arizona.
Should have been charged with assault, too.
He should have. Well, he shouldn't. He should have been chalked, is what he should have been.
Should have been well ventilated and hung up to dry.
Yeah, they should have just come in and chalked him and been done with it.
I understand that. Palmetto is where it's at. Ron's on fire tonight. I think Wendy's still got you beat, Ron. You're going to have to comment more if you're going to win tonight.
I'm going to have to switch over to Facebook, apparently. You got a party going on that side. I'm watching YouTube.
Yeah. Well, YouTube's a little slow over there, Andrew.
Everybody's, yeah.
Andrew must have found a hog because he ain't talking no more.
Oh, he texted me just a minute ago and told me one of the hogs was coming in on him, so he's been silent since.
He turned the video off. He might reflect off his lens or something.
We were making too much noise.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. Unless you guys got any exciting information for us, we're going to close this puppy down for the night. Send your feedback to Troy at GuyandGunsPodcast.com or
Doug at GuyandGunsPodcast.com.
Please tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/GuyandGunsPodcast. You can subscribe to us and follow us on YouTube. And you can follow us on Twitter, but I ain't posted nothing over in a long time because I'm pretty much fed up with Twitter. I'm over at Parler now. If you want to find me at Parler, at least there's some more conservative Christian nice people over there, and you got to put up with all that riffraff over at Twitter. Search for us on Instagram. You can find us on MeWe. I do some gun trading from time to time when I need to over on MeWe, and our website is a hopeless cause at this point. COVID-19. Yep, we need some funding from the government to get COVID-19. I don't know how many times I've had on social media pop up telling me I needed some funding from the government to help me in my business.
Yeah.
Get some money. Like, I don't want no money from the government.
Dependent.
I am not getting no money from the government. And by goodness, they sent me a check anyway. I told them not to, I didn't want that. They sent me a check anyway.
Gotta love them.
Gosh, they just keep running the money up and up and up. I mean, they're trying to destroy the economy. They're trying to destroy America. It's quite obvious. Well, we already done all this. Until next time, Doug, have a blessed week.
And keep your guns close, but keep your Bible closer.
Night, y'all. Thanks for joining us. See you later.
Good night, everybody.